among us would have believed that the sound of children at their playgrounds would be replaced by the sound of automatic machine gun fire at our schools? That the sound of little girls skipping rope would be overshadowed by the frantic shrills of children dodging bullets? Yet, instead of loving our children more, we installed metal detectors in our school.
I couldn't say it better myself, Michael. All right, you guys. Welcome back to the MJ Innocent podcast. I'm your host, Moonwalker Tanya. All right, so as we know, there was a very unfortunate tragedy, not just this week, but over the past few weeks. And as you guys know, I do not watch the news because since I battle depression and anxiety, I deal with enough things that make me sad. But when I heard about this, I completely fell apart. And apparently there were also shootings in California and also in New York. And the speech that I just played for you guys from Michael was the first thing I thought of when I heard about this. And then I remembered the tragedy that happened at Virginia Tech. And also, I can't believe it's been this long already, but this is actually the 10th anniversary of the school shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in New York. So I did a little research regarding this, and I'm not sure if all the information is out there, so I would not, I'm not taking, some of the figures, 100% accurate, because I think there's still some things they need to work out. But from what I've heard, 18 children were killed on Tuesday, and a teacher was killed. The suspect was an 18-year-old male who has been identified, but I'm not going to say their name on here, just in case if I'm not allowed to. And the suspect was shot and killed by an officer on site. Now, the one thing that frustrates me was I heard that there wasn't security at the elementary school. And I tried to think back to when I was in elementary school, and I don't remember if we had security or not. But we always had security at the middle school and high school. So what I don't understand is, we've had all these shootings at elementary schools, and, not just those, but, come on. Every school should be secured. And unfortunately, as much as I want these tragedies to end, is there really a way to prevent them? I don't think the law is handling it well. And the thing is, this is not a topic that I really like to talk about because it's a very sensitive topic. But I will just say that since they are looking into the gun restriction laws again, that's not going to do anything. Because, think about it. Even back when I was in school, we were taught that we were not allowed to have weapons at school, but this 18-year-old brought a gun to the elementary school. So what is that going to do? And it's like Michael said, instead of loving the children and trying to see how they can help them, instead they install metal detectors. And, we had those, let's see, I don't think we had them at the entrance of the building. Well, we did at my college. When I was in college, we did have metal detectors in every entrance to all the buildings. And I remember at at my high school, there was a metal detector as you entered the library. And I think the train is coming, but I'm not going to get excited about it because of what this episode's about. Yeah. And so, to the families in Texas that are grieving right now, I really am sorry for your loss. It is very heartbreaking when these situations happen, and my first question is always why? You know, this suspect was 18 years old. I mean, I seriously don't know what he thought would come from this, except ending the lives of innocent children. And I'm so emotional right now, and I mean, I'll admit I'm kind of disappointed that that suspect cannot be prosecuted or incriminated, but you know, ever since the officer shot him, you know, he's going to receive his punishment from God. So, I know that may not seem like enough for some people, but I just pray that, you know, God knows what he's doing. You know? I just wish there was something that I could do for the families. I heard that the funeral homes in Texas are offering free funerals for the victims, which is nice, but I just wish there was more that we could do, but what is that? I heard that school at Robb Elementary has been canceled for the remainder of the year. I think their last day was supposed to be, I think it was either supposed to be today, tomorrow, or Monday, or something like that. So it's not like they were going to miss a lot of school, but I can only imagine how traumatized those children are. Because, I mean, nothing like that happened when I was in school. I mean, there were classmates of mine that would get into fights and they would be doing things that they weren't supposed to be doing. And there was a bad situation that did happen at my high school once where, do you remember that guy that I told you who sexually harassed me? Well, he and his friends drove up to the high school one Saturday, and football practice was not happening, so I'm not quite sure why Greg, as I'm going to refer to him as in this video, I don't know what he was thinking of when his friends asked him to drive them to the high school. So he drove them there, and I'm not going to be specific just because I don't know if I can, but let's just say they put something in the soda machine outside and 15 minutes later, boom. I mean, thankfully no one was hurt, but actually one of the teachers who was always in a good mood, I mean, he was furious. I want to say for like a month after that happened, because I believe he said that if he walked in front of that machine, if he was in front of that machine like 10 or 15 minutes earlier, he would have been right in front of it before it happened. So it could have been really bad. Greg and the other guys, they were expelled from school, and Greg was kicked off the football team. So I know that might not seem like much, but at that time I considered that justice for what he put me through. And I even remember once at my former work, there was a bee threat in the men's room, and I want to say for like a month or so after that, every day when we came into the building, we had to show security our purses and our bags. You know, and that's why it's so unfortunate, because when stuff like that happens, the people who would never do something like that are the ones who are punished, basically. And just so everyone knows, there wasn't a be in the building. I don't want to say the word. Apparently, it was just a very stupid thing for somebody to say because they didn't want to work that night. Pathetic. So, yeah, to the families in California, New York, and Texas, my thoughts and prayers are with you, sending you love and hugs. And I just wish that there was a way to prevent these things, but the question is how? I mean, I did listen to a video where they tried to say, well, if we knew some information ahead of time, well, that is true, but sometimes these things happen with people who show no signs of it, or they were probably in a bad place at one point, but then we're not in that situation later, so it's not always easy to use that as a lookout. It is a good one, but it's not always the one to go to. So it's a very complicated situation, and I just wish it never happened, because the biggest question that I have is, why did that 18-year-old have that thought to go to that elementary school and do that? So I guess we'll find out more information as it comes out. And all I can say is we have to stay safe, and we have to stop with all this. It's like that one speech that Michael gave against racism. He was talking about how families and neighbors are hurting each other, and even children killing each other. And then, Michael basically, all he had to do was basically say this one sentence that he did say in his speech. He was like, we have to stop. And that's what he said. And I'm glad he said it, that angrily, because I feel Michael's anger in that situation. He had so much love for life and people. And even speaking of Michael, even back in the 90s, he was receiving death threats. And there was one person who, I guess, sent him a letter or something saying that if he went along with the concert, this person would show up and shoot Michael, or even shoot the fans. So Michael canceled the show. Because even though Michael is concerned for himself, he was more concerned about his fans. But seriously, why ruin life for other people? Like, what do you get out of that? But at the same time, I've been asking myself that same question when it comes to Wade and James, and Adrian, Dan Greed, Oprah, Evan Chandler, Janet Arvizo. So, there are just people that are evil. And Michael, we really need you right now. And I wish you were still here. But the only thing we can do is stay together, build from here, and be here for each other. Okay, so again, I really am sorry to the families who are grieving right now, and to the victims of these horrible tragedies. Rest in peace.